So this is our social studies for week 3. So we have social studies and science this week. Our social studies is focusing on leadership. So our first question, or our first thing is draw a picture of the time that you were being a leader. Then discuss the following question with someone and write the answers in complete sentences. So I forgot to upload my picture for being a leader, so I'll try to put in the comments below. But we're going to be focusing on answering these questions. So we can either use these sentence starters right here, or you can just answer them right after the question. I'm going to just be answering them right after the question. So our first one is, what does it mean to be a leader? List characteristics of a leader. So what does a leader do? What is it that makes a leader a leader? Well, the first thing is they generally have to be, for a good leader, they have to be compassionate. They have to have compassion. They should probably also be kind. They have to be what's called charismatic. That just means that when they talk, people are engaged. They're listening to them. They're like, I can't wait to hear what this person has to say. Now, some other things we might associate with leaders is they have to be respectful. And again, this isn't like all leaders, because there's always going to be exceptions, but this is like my ideal picture of what a good leader should be. They also have to be encouraging, and they also have to be able to be good with teamwork. Another thing they have to be able to do is a good leader has to delegate. That means they can tell people what to do and trust them to get it done. They're not trying to do everything by themselves because they know they can't. Now, our next part is make a list of school, community, state, national, and or global leaders who have these characteristics. So, since it's a list, it doesn't have to be complete sentences. The same thing we had up here. List the traits. So a list means it doesn't have to be complete sentences. We can organize them in bullet points. So let's start with school. Who's someone that has these traits? So there's Ms. Diaz. There's Ms. Sibilia. Let's go to our community. Well, we have our mayor, Mayor Hurley Shive, if I said her name correctly. We also had, before he passed away, this was the mayor for pretty much, it seemed like my whole life, was Mayor Bob Cashel. Who's our state leaders? Well, we have the governor, who is Governor Sisolak. National. So you can put the president. If you think he's not a good leader, you can leave it off, or you could just leave it as president. Who are some of those global leaders? Well, this one you might not know, so you may have to leave it blank, but we have the German Chancellor, Angela. We also have the Queen of England. Even though she's not really the leader of England, she does have that presence and people do look to her, even though that's more of the Prime Minister's job. So we can go on and on, but I'm going to stop my list there so we can get to our next part. Choose one of the leaders you have listed and explain what makes them a good leader. So which one of these makes them a good leader? Well, I'm going to pick one of these that you know because you're more familiar with them. So what is it that makes Ms. Sibilia, we'll pick, a good leader? So Ms. Sibilia is a good leader. So that's my topic sentence. I'm starting out, so now I know what the rest of the paragraph is. And now we're going to give some reasons. What makes her a good leader is she's always thinking on how to help others. When she has a plan on how to help, she doesn't just sit back and wait. She gathers people, students, teachers, and community members to make her plan happen. Now I'm going to go back and spell check. So I have this others here. So remember, we right click others, right click for teachers, right click for members, So that's one of those things that's showing why she's a leader, but why else is she a leader? She encourages these people to get the job done in a timely manner so that they can impact the community. Now, it doesn't say just one paragraph, so we can go on and we can write another paragraph if we'd like as well, using these other traits. So how does she delegate? How is she respectful? We already touched kind of on that compassion and that teamwork with gathering people. So we could continue those. For time though, because we're already at 6 minutes and we still have a couple more, I'm going to go to our next one. So give an example of a time when someone wasn't a good leader. A time when someone wasn't a good leader. So I'm restating that question, or restating the prompt. A time when someone wasn't a good leader. Now I'm going to fill it in with when they weren't. Was when my brother bossed me around with our lunch order. So what happened was my brother and I, we were supposed to go get lunch for my family, and my brother didn't really do a good job of asking for feedback. What he was he's like, I'm in charge, which is what a leader should be, but then he didn't follow any of these traits up here. He didn't show compassion, he wasn't respectful, he didn't think about what I wanted or my parents wanted. He just said, this is what we're doing. When we got to McDonald's, he just started ordering what he wanted for our family. That meant, this might not be the right number, but it seemed like that. That meant 100 chicken nuggets and Pepsi. I told him that I didn't want chicken nuggets. And what did he do? He responded by saying, I'm in charge. He didn't change the order, nor did he show any sort of empathy for my feelings. So it's just showing that he was doing what he wanted as a leader. He was in charge based on our parents saying, you go get it with your brother. But he didn't really care about anything else, just about his own selfish needs. Now, we were 7 and 9, so we were both just kids, but it's okay. Alright, so that's what time when someone wasn't a good leader, where they were just bossing around. Not the most academic term, but we're going to say he was just being a bossy boss. Okay, so now if you wanted to use these sentence starters instead of filling these answers out, you could have done that as well. So it would just be, being a leader means, and then we would just put these in here. Being a leader means that you are, and now we're just going to make it a giant sentence. And this is kind of why I like doing that list better, because these are all important traits, but you'll notice it does make our sentence kind of long. So now we have to cut them out of what a good leader is, and it just wouldn't be as complete. Okay, the things that make a good leader are, and so actually that was my mistake right here. The things that make a good leader are, so I'd fill that in. Being a leader means that you are trying to solve problems that affect a large group of people. And then good leaders that I know are, so then we'd fill those in. So we would just be like, Ms. Diaz Ms. Sibylla, and there's another leader. So we will use mine, Mayor growing up, even though he has passed away just this year, actually. And so then we would just continue with their good leaders because, and then they are bad leaders. All right, that's it for your social